everybody, this is Alma Books. I'm your host Alma and welcome again to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up. I didn't get as much read as I would have liked this month. I only read 4 books in the month of February, so one of those was more graphic novel-y than full-on book, so it was short and I was able to squeeze it in like a day. So other than that, I would have had 3. But it was a busy month for me. Life kind of got a hold, and you know how it is. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So the first book I'm going to talk about is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is her newest book. I was introduced to Holly Black way back when I was, a youngling. I first read Tithe when it came out, and I believe that was her first book. And I absolutely fell in love with her as an author. And then I got Cruel Prince in the January Owl Crate box. And I thoroughly enjoyed this book. So it follows Jude as a human in a fairyland, and she wants to be part of the fairy court in a sense. She doesn't want to be like a princess. She wants to be a knight. She wants to, she basically just wants to be a knight. And so it follows her, and then something happens, and the king ends up mutilated, or there's a mutiny that happens, basically. I don't know if it's mutiny, if it's not a ship, but either way, it happens. The king dies. There's no heir to the throne. Well, there is an heir to the throne, but the only way that the heir to the throne can become the throne is be on the throne is if there's another family member to crown him, and neither of the 2 remaining want to crown either of the 2 remaining. So there's a whole huge plan, and yada yada yada, life goes great. This is the first in a trilogy, and I'm pretty sure I will be continuing on with this trilogy. The next book I'm going to talk about is the complete collection of the Tragedy series. I don't remember who this is by, but it is basically a huge collection of just really random, crappy things that can happen in life. For example, secret lobster claw hands, or getting attacked by a random squid, or something along those lines. And there are parts where it's like, okay, sadness reprieve, and it'll give you like a happy little comic. This was the book that took me a day to read, and I thought it was adorable. Would I reread it? Probably not. I think it just played its course with me, but it was still cute to have a bit of a reprieve from the seriousness of life and just have fun with what I was reading. The next book was The Magic Price. It's the first in the Crown of Stones series, and I got halfway through it and I DNF'd it. I also figured out in this book that I am probably a warmonger because the political talk was terrible. So this follows Ian Troy, who is a Shinri, or a magical being in this land. And he basically casts a spell that knocks out an entire battlefield of people, and ends this war. But he did it using magic, which made him feel guilty, because his using magic meant that the love of his life died, and he didn't control it properly. And anyway, so it spends the entire rest of the book talking about how he could have done this differently. He could have stopped this. He could have not done the magic. He could have, he could have used a different tactic. And people are like, dude, you ended a war. Like, why are you upset about this? And then he's like, well, I'm just a warrior. I'm not a healer. I can't do this. I can't do that. And he spends a whole 10 years feeling guilty about one act of magic. And I can understand where he's coming from with the addiction side of things and trying not to cast and not wanting to cast but still casting anyway. But at the same rate, he's not really helping any situation. He's just bitching about it. The entire book was just him bitching about how he's got this magic and he doesn't want to use it. And it's the first in a trilogy I will not be continuing on with. I could not even get through the first book. I don't have any empathy for him. I don't have any sympathy for him. I cannot get into his mind frame. So there's that. And the last book that I will be bringing up is one that I just finished, and that is Firewood. I did the review on it yesterday, but I don't think I did a very good job of reviewing it. So basically it follows Ruby Otrera as she continues her journey on from Frostblood, and she ends up in Sedasia, which is the Fireblood realm. And she basically needs to destroy the Fire Throne to have the Mimics not escape. So she has to destroy it, but not completely, and leaves like a small piece of it so that the Mimics doesn't escape. And I honestly will continue on with this series. This is book 2, and I'm still wanting to find out what happens to Ruby. I have the empathy that I need and the connection with the character, and I loved that there was no love triangle. It was great because there was the potential for a love triangle, but the author did not turn it in the way of love trianglehood. And I love that. You guys, you have no idea how much that means to me, that it didn't turn into a love triangle. And so, there's that. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a lovely afternoon.